but I'm the happiest I've ever been. So I didn't have the representation. That was the shock factor for me. You can't keep doing this. You have to do something different if you want change. And turning every corner and not being able to see people who are like me. My name is Chai Thia. I am the founder of KCLAB Media. We are a media production company that's dedicated to amplifying the voices of women of color. And we do that through content, community, and storytelling.
I'm Jo. I'm the founder of KCLAB, and we do love celebrating the stories of Black and mixed people who are building something really special and with purpose, because it's really linked to our identity, our root, and that shows also that we have the power to change things. So thanks, Chai Thia, for being here today. Yeah, can you tell us all about Herspire? What do we need to do to know before we start, please?
Yeah, so in terms of the beginning of Herspire, that spiraled basically from the feelings I was feeling at the time. So I always tell people I started 2 years ago, but really I only started this year. But let's go back 2 years. 2 years ago, I was in a corporate job. So I was working as a recruiter, working with a lot of white males, and it just didn't feel like I was in an environment that was truly who I was, like truly my authentic self. And it's something that I felt all my life. So all my life, I sort of just felt like I was silenced when it started from the home, and then from home into school, and then from school into career. It's like it was an ongoing cycle of not being truly seen for who I am. So yeah, 2 years ago when I was in recruitment, I was 25. I was sitting with myself just thinking, I cannot stay here. I cannot keep silencing myself. Being around everyone made me feel silent, and turning every corner and not being able to see people who were like me was a lot for me. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm done. I want to leave this behind. I want to create a new narrative for myself. So what I did is quit my job, left recruitment altogether. And then that's when I started Herspire. At the beginning, it was just supposed to be a safe space for me. So I posted like affirmations and encouraging words, interviews with other women where they were just fueling fire and like sparking that light inside. So it was just originally a safe space. And this year I decided to like lock in with it and zone in. Okay, where do I want Herspire to go? What do I want to do with this? Because I had built up a platform specifically on TikTok, and then I moved over to Instagram and was building up a community of women who were like me. I said, okay, what can I do with this? And then I started doing interviews one-to-one. I forced my friends to do it. And then I moved on to the one-to-one interviews, and I was like, okay, let's go and do some street ones. Like, because around that time, earlier this year, street interviews were just popping off, and there were so many different people doing it, asking different questions. But I felt like within the media, there wasn't really many Black women doing it. There wasn't many out there like asking important questions about themselves, about identity, about culture, about self-love. So I decided, okay, let me do it. Bearing in mind, I'm like a 5'3", I'm a short girl. So it's like walking around with a mic in busy areas. Everybody's just walking past me. But I did it, I stuck to it, and I was able to like get people to talk to me and get people to share their story on my platform. So that's how we started. And then a lot of people from events started to find me, and they were like, oh, come to our event, do interviews there. And then I went and did interviews at people's events. Someone was interviewing Black, Asian and mixed women, asking them what they love about themselves and asking them about their business and just everything to do with who they were. And that's how Herspire sort of began. And now we're sort of moving on into group productions and doing more community stuff and working on our first event. So Herspire literally got built out of a place of feeling silence and then changing my own narrative and finding my true authentic self and being able to share that with so many women. And yeah, it was such a beautiful start.
And hats off to that. Hats off to that. Really, I mean, you can be proud of taking up the initiative, because as Black women, we are so often silenced, as you said. We don't feel represented in those corporate space, but in the world in general, because we are not used to be in the spotlight. So I'm really glad that you're here today. So thank you again for that. I'd love to dive a little bit more about like whether it was like in your previous job or nowadays, how did it feel to not feel represented? And if you had some representation, who were they and how they make you feel?
Well, when I was working, I didn't really have that representation. And I think that was the problem for me. My home life was really difficult. I grew up in quite a violent background. And so I didn't really have anyone to turn to. So going into that working world, it wasn't an expectation in my mind to have anyone to turn to. So I didn't have the representation. And I worked in recruitment, and recruitment is sales, and majority of sales is white males. There isn't really loads of like people of color in recruitment, men or women. So it's like there was minimal representation. When I first started in recruitment as well, I was working in Essex. Essex is an area that is majority white people. So yeah, I didn't see anyone was like me. And to be quite honest, nobody was also like me internally. And that was the problem. So fair enough. Okay, physically, I didn't see any representation, no black or brown women. But I also didn't see anyone who truly cared about individuals, like truly cared about their stories and their lives. And that's something that was calling to me. So I had to sort of find my tribe and find that community elsewhere.
That's amazing on how sadly this could be, because I think there's a lot of us that getting to that point. And thank you for sharing it, actually, because it's bringing a voice to that issue. That we are now trying to create that space for us and by us, so we kind of like break the circle for the next generation as well. So it's amazing that we are now able to do that. I'd like to ask, along the way, what was like a key moment that made you show up? That was like, okay, I'm done with that situation. I want to like be myself authentically and really like share my voice to the world.
So I actually worked in 3 different recruitment companies. With recruitment, it's really high turnover. So a lot of people just bounce around. One of them in particular, I actually got fired from, and I was so upset. And it was because I didn't hit the numbers they wanted me to hit. Bearing in mind, I had come from a company where I was hitting so many numbers, making them so much money, to then not making as much money and not hitting the numbers, and they just let me go. So I think that was the shock factor for me, that I worked so hard in something that I knew I didn't want to do. Like I knew I didn't want to be in this environment. And then letting go was the shock factor for me. It made me realize that, and this is not even what I want to do. So I shouldn't even be upset about something I don't want to do. And then 2, I'm around people who are not even like me, who are not on the same mission as me, who are not have the same calling I have, which is to help others and to boost up individuals and to give people who look like me a voice. So that was the key moment for me, where I said to myself, you can't keep doing this. You have to do something different if you want change. If you want to change your narrative, you also have to change. And so it made me realize I can no longer stay somewhere that I know it's going against me. And even the moment when I started working all these jobs, because I was in recruitment for about 2 years, working in that field, even going into it, I knew I didn't want to do it. But I did it anyway, out of survival, out of just living in London, and you just feel like, okay, well, I have to make the most amount of money. I have to survive. But now I can't even say I'm making as much money as I was before, but I'm the happiest I've ever been, because now I'm actively doing something that's calling to who I am. So I think that shock factor allowed me to be like, Jay, it's time for you to do what you're called to do on earth, not what others want you to do.
Exactly. And that's what we're here for. I love how what you're sharing is really a mix about that. You need that shock factor to go and be aligned with your values and your purpose all at the same time. And that's really amazing. I'd like to know, so from that shocking point, what really helped you to move forward and speak up? What inspired you along the journey of creating Herspire?
Okay, so from that point, I told you I wanted a safe space. So I'm a millennial at heart, but technically I'm a Gen.
That depends on what kind of music you're listening up to.
And I'm a millennial, but yes, I grew up in an era of technology. I grew up in the era of media and being in the media. But whenever I'd watch programs or whenever I would see stuff via the media, I wouldn't see anybody who was like me. I saw a stereotypical image of the Black woman that was loud, ghetto, rowdy, or the Black woman that was a gold digger. You just see all these different negative stereotypes. And I was like, okay, let me try and create something different. And I started small. So after that shock factor, I was like, let me do this small so that at least there's something out there that's bringing positivity and bringing light. So I started off with something completely easy, which was just posting affirmations. I would make up the affirmations, put them on a pretty background and just post it. It was something I could manage at the time whilst I looked for something new to do, like day to day, which I found a new job at the time and it was amazing within a month, thank God. It was really quick. Yeah. I started off small. And that was the main goal for me because I didn't necessarily know that it was going to be a business. I just knew that it was calling on my heart to change my narrative and connect with women that were like me. So I didn't know I was going to grow it into this big space and build a community and have events and talk to hundreds of women every single day. Like, I didn't know it was going to be there. But what I knew is that starting small was perfect for me because I was able balance everything in my life and still do things step by step and still build. So yeah, starting small was the best way for me to transition from that shock factor into building Herspire.
Makes sense, definitely. And along the way, so today with Herspire, you're doing events, community, a lot of storytelling as well.
So we create content, which is media productions. So we have our own YouTube series, and then we also do the storytelling aspect, which is street interviews and one-to-one interviews. And then with our community, having our first event in January. So the event stuff is new and exciting and very overwhelming sometimes, but we're starting small because we have a community. We want to bring real authentic connections and we want to bring people together who are like-minded. So that's the gist of bringing that community, bringing that content and bringing storytelling. So that's amazing.
That's an amazing mission. We'll put all the link into the description on the video when it's on YouTube so people can follow your news and when it's going to happen as well. And to that point, what has been, let's start with like the most challenging part of like being to that stage and like the best outcome that you've been so far?
I would say the most challenging is being able to talk to so many women. So the one thing is there's so many women out here that have similar stories, but then also have stories that are completely different. Specifically in the beginning, I was doing interviews all on my own, as well as balancing my job, as well as balancing life, as well as balancing a social life, a romantic life. Like, it was so much. But I wanted to make sure I like stuck to what I was called to do, stuck to my mission, which was having those conversations with women, which somehow turned out to be the hardest part of the business. Like, being able to have the time to talk to so many women as well as balancing everything. But how I've sort of overcome that is, one, by having a lovely team that have jumped on board to help me grow Herspire. Like, I always tell them, like, I'm so happy you're growing my business with me, and to see my mission, it helps with those challenges. It helps with the times where I may not be able to balance everything and maybe someone else can like pick up where I can't do it, or pick up where I don't have the time to go and interview someone else can go and interview them. So that challenge for me, it is hard to find balance, but you do it by using the community that you've actually built and using the people around you. Like, people don't understand how valuable it is to have people around you to help you build. And I had a business previously before I started this one, and it completely failed. And it's because I was doing it all on my own. I thought I could do everything. I thought I could be this superwoman that can just run everything, but I couldn't. You need community to help build. You need other people that have the strengths where you may have the weaknesses to help build the brand.
That's an amazing takeaway. I think there's a lot of like creators and entrepreneurs that we don't have like really that role models as Black women on how it is to be a founder and balancing everything. So what you shared and the importance on having a team, on having like positive people that believe in your dream and in your vision to surround you, it's amazing. And I think it's a really good takeaway for everybody that's going to watch this interview, really. That makes me move to the empowerment part, actually. For someone who's trying to build their business as a media and on content creation, what would be your tips for them?
I would say, well, I know it's so generic because when people say, oh, keep posting, like I always say, keep posting and be yourself. Like, obviously, you're going to do that. I mean, but I would say the main thing is having a schedule, like being organized rather than saying, oh, keep posting. Yes, you should keep posting, but do something that's actually going to be beneficial to you and your current life, which is having structure. If you don't have structure, then you don't actually grow. The way I actually, because we hit 20K on TikTok this year, and I was so
Congratulations for that.
Thank you. I was so excited about that because I was like, okay, I'm growing. I'm finally building my business more and to grow more, hopefully in the future. But the way I sort of did that is by having some form of structure. I didn't post 5,000 times a day, which people are offering on the advice. I didn't. I set a schedule and I had one post a day, and then I had a set amount of time, whether it be an hour, 30 minutes, whatever, to go and connect with people who were like my business and like me. So the advice I would give is to have that structure, go and connect with people who are doing what you're doing or you would want to do what they're doing. Like, look in their comments, message them, like some of their posts, send them a message and say you want to connect with them and have a conversation with them. Those things, like the community aspects of things and the scheduling aspect, is so important. So yeah, that's what I would say.
That's a really good takeaway. That's a really good tips. If you're not that person, find someone that can help you.
Even if it's a case where you don't have the time to post every day, the day you have the time to post, go and schedule your posts for the week and then set amount of time for you to go and engage with your community. Anything you build, you're going to have a community, whether it's your customer, whether it's your content creator, you're going to have people that are watching you and they want to also be a part of what you're creating. So you also have to engage with them. It can't just be a one-sided thing. So set that time and do what you need to do to help build up your business and build your community.
Definitely. Let me know if you agree with this, but I'd say also like that time that you need to invest to do that minimum of like scheduling your post. I mean, it's not the minimum, but it's also like consistency to do so, to be visible. You have it back from the community because you need to dedicate the time. That's the minimum investment that you could give. But people are giving you like 100 times what you gave by posting that video, by posting that quote or whatever it is.
Because they can see that you actually do care about what you're posting. Some people who say, oh yeah, just post 3 times a day, like post your content. I get it because they want you to have consistency, but people value authenticity more than they do consistency, to be quite honest. Like, being your authentic self, because I'm always like, oh, that advice isn't really the greatest advice, but yes, be your authentic self, but also use your community and be your authentic self. Don't just post. Your authentic self is also going to talk to people. You're also going to try and engage with others. People scroll on TikTok for hours and hours on the day. Why are you not doing that for your business? Like, this is why I always say, do it for your business. Engage with your community. Be the consumer as well. Don't just be the business person. You have to be the consumer. You have to put yourself in their shoes.
I've seen a sentence lately on Instagram that said, you need to post for your community, not for the algorithm. And that blew my mind, and I think that really links to what you just said. On that empowerment theme, how would you say Healthspire made you grow, and how does it empower you on a daily basis in your life now?
Oh, this is a good question. Because I just feel like now, obviously, remember how I was saying 2 years ago, I just felt like I wasn't being me. I felt like I was silencing myself. Now I can yap for days. Like, now I can be who I've always knew I was in the internal. And Healthspire sort of opened the door for me to do that. It's allowed me to also not create just a safe space for other women, but create a safe space for myself. I'm able to also heal myself and then also listen to other people's stories, and they heal me as much as I heal them. So it's like a give and take form of energy. Like, since I started running Healthspire consistently this year specifically, it has made me feel so much stronger within myself, my unapologetic self. I talk with passion and I talk with love and I talk with light. And it's something that I can truly see internally and externally. I always say to like my team and people, yes, Herspire is me, but it's also you. Like, it's not just me, it's for everyone. And yeah, it's been great, honestly.
It's amazing to see how confident it makes you feel as well. We can tell like through that interview that it makes you feel really confident and really proud as well. So hats off for that. You achieved really a lot, so congratulations.
Honestly, and I feel like if my background, when I tell you it was so terrible, to see myself now, it's like I'm not timid anymore. I don't silence myself anymore. And it's like I can truly feel safe with me. And I feel like that's the one thing when people are on their journeys to creating themselves to this best version, you have to be able to feel safe within yourself. It's more than just, love yourself. It's more than that. It's that you have to be able to trust yourself in every single aspect. And now creating something that has been calling to me internally has allowed me to trust myself completely. Now I can literally sit there and when I talk to people, I'm like, we're going to try and make you trust yourself. We're going to literally allow you to have the space to heal, just the space to talk your story and tell whatever you want, a space for you to talk about your business and why you started it. But this is going to be your time for you to trust yourself and love yourself and make sure you're creating something and saying the words that you want to say. So yeah, it's honestly helped me so much.
I love it. I love it. And on that note, what would be like your key takeaway for the people watching this interview? Because I feel you're empowered, so it's the right time to ask you the takeaway.
I'm trying to narrow it down to one. I would just say to the people that are trying to start their own businesses, make sure you're doing something that's living to your authentic self. So I don't necessarily believe in starting just a business for the sake of it. I believe in doing stuff that we're called to do. So if something is on your heart, whatever it is, you know that it's something that is your mission. So do what you're called to do and always push out love, kindness, and light. And to the women that may be on their healing journey, you can change your narrative. You literally can. I changed it. And if I can change it, you can change it. You can become who you know you are on the internal. You can become this beautiful being that is already inside of you. You can let it shine externally. So all you have to do is start trusting yourself to let that shine.
I love it. And that's the motivational talk that we needed today. I love that. Thank you so much. We're going to end with 5 very quick questions that I'd like you to answer like as fast as possible. We welcome through your heart and your mind, okay?
Yeah.
Ready for it?
Okay, I'm ready.
Who is your favorite Black or mixed artist of all time?
I'm going to have to say Jasmine Sullivan. I love her. Yes, singer. I love her soulfulness. I love her light. Yeah, she's my fave.
Amazing. Would you have a quote, a song that summarizes your journey?
Oh, I do have a quote. I always say, Maya Angelou, nothing can dim the light that shines from within.
I love it.
Love it.
What inspired you the most in your life?
I ask this question to women all the time. Okay, who inspires me? I'm going to say, it's generic, but I am going to say my mum. My mum has also been through so much and she isn't perfect, but she is working to bring her best self forward. And that's something I look at and be like, okay, well, if you're going to work to bring your best self forward, I'm going to always work to bring my best self forward. Even though I may not be perfect, but I know I'm going to always shine.
And that's a great inspiration indeed. What are you the most proud of today?
Myself. I'm going to thank me for being me.
For being me.
For me. Me, honestly, I have come so far. So far in my life. I have battled depression. I have battled abusive relationships with family. I have battled eating disorders. I have battled so much. To be where I am today, to be alive, living life, and to be thankful to God, like for bringing me here. That is something I will always be proud of. Me. I brought myself here. I built this. I made this. And what I am is beautiful and wonderful. So if I have to be proud of anything, it's always going to be me.
And I love that. That's really what we want to hear. One thing that you do on a daily basis to boost yourself and to empower yourself.
I love walking.
Okay.
active, like walking, like being in nature. I also have a walking pad at home, so I'm consistently walking around. Being in nature, I know the weather's like terrible in the UK right now, but I also think it's important to be outside without your phone and just connect with what God has created. So yeah, just being outside, walking, enjoying the nature. That's the one thing I do every single day.
I love it. Thank you so much, Chai Thia. That was amazing. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, it's so great to just share.
Yeah, I love that. I loved your energy. To everyone's watching, if that conversation touched you, share it with someone as a reminder that they can share their story as well, their road, their identity, because it really, really matters. And you can be an inspiration for a lot of people then. And you can find Chai Thia to all the Instagram handles here, on YouTube as well. I'll put all the link in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to KCLAB Media for more stories of Black and mixed creators and entrepreneurs in Europe and beyond. And until the next time, I wish you all the best, Chai Thia. And to everybody, keep creating, keep shining, and taking up the space because colors matter.